Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a really exciting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the EMP EDC Nymble X. This is an awesome knife. At the time of this recording, this knife is available. I will link it down in the description so that you can check it out if you want to. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. I feel like this knife was made for me. I've said that a million times. This has so many elements of what I like the stuff that I look for when I consider purchasing a pocket knife that I actually plan to use and carry. Now, sometimes I use and carry stuff that's not practical at all, and it's just for cool factor. For me, this mixes all of the cool factor elements together with all of the stuff that I actually want and look for, right? We're going to go over that. But yeah, spoiler alert, this is a really good knife. Let's go ahead and measure it. The overall length of this guy, the Nymble X, which has been released before. This is just an updated version of it. I think enough updates that it warrants a new review. 8 inches overall. Blade length is 3.5 inches. Cutting edge is just shy. No, it's right on 3 1/4. How about some size comparisons? Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others. Up against the AD10 and my own Excalibur. Obviously, it's not quite as big. Let's talk about this. That looks like a copy of the Excalibur. It's obviously not. The reason that it looks similar, the reason that this look is similar with lots of different knives nowadays is because these elements are popular. They are elements that work with the human hand. These are elements that I have come to understand are preferable for me and many, many people. The Excalibur, as many of you know, is a combination of elements that I love about various models that are legendary in our community, like the XM18, the Strider SNG, the Chris Reeve Umnumzon, the Demco 8020, the Spyderco Shaman. I mean, I talked about this when I released this knife. I literally, thought these are elements that I love. I wish that I could combine the things that I love and none of the things that I don't like into one knife, and that's how we came up with Excalibur. A lot of people say that that creates a bland-looking knife, and that's fine. I think it's all purely subjective. Anyway, the Nymble X is absolutely doing its own thing and has some similarities to Excalibur, but the reason that that I like it so much is the ergonomic zones. I like the look of it. I like the blade shape. I like the opening hole, the diamond texturing, right? It's still absolutely doing its own thing, but no, it's not a copy. In fact, the Nymble X was around before, the Nymble was around before my knife. But these are just preferences that I share with the designer. And I love it. I mean, that's why it feels like it was made for me. It's just a lot of things that I really, really love. Let's put it up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. About the same overall size as the PM2. And then finally up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue and the Hogue Deca. How is the action? Boy, is it good. Who's the OEM? The OEM is Bestech, and they have done an excellent job with this. This has a vanishing flipper tab, and what that means is the frame is cut. The flipper tab is specifically cut with the frame so that it disappears in the open position, which is awesome for a number of reasons. Number one, an exposed flipper tab in the open position does create ergonomic cramping. In a lot of designs, like the Hinder XM18, for example. That's the reason I think the best version is the non-flipper. And so making it vanish under here, but also having this whole area so smooth without compromising like the lock-in. I mean, this is so good. Like the space that I have for my index finger is enormous. And he still didn't sacrifice that much cutting edge. Choked back, choked up, doesn't really matter. It's all great. We'll talk more about that in ergonomics. But the fact that you have the option to use the flipper tab is great. Is the front flipper awesome? Yeah, the front flipper is perfect. How about the reverse flicking? It is also absolutely incredible. I love the way that this reverse flicks. I love the way that it forward flicks, or whatever you want to call that. It's just great. I just realized I've played with this so much that I actually need to tighten down the pivot. Let's do a hardware check. The action's really good. The action's amazing. Fidget factor on this thing is top tier. It is second nature to deploy and manipulate this. It's super easy. When you are disengaging, before I tighten up this pivot, when you're disengaging, you cannot be right up here by this because like a lot of people are going to go, it has double clutch. It doesn't. You just need to move back a bit and catch yourself. You can see there, I'm still getting caught right on. Let's do it again so everybody can see. Right on the forward choil. That's how you want to do that. So just back up a bit. But lock bar access is ample and very comfortable. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. Everything on this knife is a T8. T8, 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 T8. Pocket clip screws all the way around. That's great. T8's great. Super smooth now. Wow. I was going to say, I was like, I can feel it's like moving. I was like, it needs to be tightened down, which is not a factory defect, by the way. We don't want factory Loctite. You, if you don't know, do not want factory Loctite on your pivot. You want to be able to easily set that yourself. I've always, for me, when I buy a knife, I want to kind of understand where the tolerances are at. If I don't have to adjust the pivot, I won't. But I pay attention to it. And then if it does, I'm like, okay, well, that's where it needs to be. It's like if I keep using it now, I know that pivot is going to slightly back out so that then I can set it with my Loctite and center the blade and get the action the way that I want. And that way it's easy to do. And I don't have to dick with it and risk, jacking up the pivot or anything like that in the process because somebody at the factory decided to, the Loctite. You remember when Spyderco used to use red Loctite? We hated it. We all hated it. Even when they used blue Loctite, it still sucks because sometimes they use too much. That's not something that it's not a complaint that I think is super valid. Like pivots are gonna, it's a pivot. I think give it enough time, any pivot will back out. But anyways, T8 across the board. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you're good to go. Let's do weight. So this is titanium backspacer, titanium pocket clip, and MagnaCut hardened to what? 6364. Yes, good job. That's how it should be. 4.4 ounces, not too much for me, might be too much for some people. Your balance on this guy is right there behind the pivot. Pretty darn good. 4.4 ounces of weight for 3.5 inches of blade. Not the best ratios, but good enough for me. Let's go ahead and measure the blade stock thickness here. Blade stock thickness is coming in, come on now, probably 140, 145. 137 thousandths. Almost the middle of the road. Okay, meat and potatoes time. Yeah, this is a good looking knife in my opinion. I love that diamond texturing. I love that we have kept all billboarding off of the blade. We only have the EMP EDC logo here. And then in a super classy move, they have put the blade steel on the finger choil. That's awesome. More companies should find areas like that to put their, their text, the optional text. Very clean look. Love it. The diamond texturing is not super aggressive, but it is aggressive enough that it provides meaningful traction. This is an insanely comfortable knife. It's so good. Like the edges are abrupt. It's just like because of the way that your hand locks in, you don't really notice it. I mean, everything is knocked down enough, right? I mean, like this is an abrupt edge, but it's knocked down enough that you don't notice it. Pocket clip is also awesome. Runs on top of a little bald spot there. Nothing for lefties though. That's a bummer. And I know like these pocket clips are specific. I really wish that we had a zone, for the other screw on this side, and then maybe the knife just comes with the opposite clip. And a lot of people would point out and say, oh, then you'd have to put a bald spot on the other side. I don't think the texturing on this is aggressive enough to even warrant the bald spot. I think that it'll ride in and out of the pocket either way just fine. Just wish there was an option for lefties. Maybe he's got left-handed versions of this on his website and I just don't know about it. I don't know. As of right now, from what I know, he doesn't do left-handed versions, so left-handed people, you just have to, a lot of lefties are like, I just carry it right-handed. Now I've just been dealing with it, right? That sucks, but sometimes you guys do that. You can get this in like black. I think they have like a black PVD handle. And then they also, I think they have a Damasteel version too. That's going to cost you a lot more money. I would honestly just go with the 6364 Magna Cut unless you really want that pattern. This opening hole is insanely comfortable to engage with. It's knocked down all the way around and you have full access to it. It's not being partially covered. I don't know why in 2025 we still have people who release designs that utilize opening holes and the opening hole is like partially cut. Like why? Why you do that? Spyderco doesn't, you know, a pretty good job most of the time of like the signature spider hole not covering it, but they have a few models where it's like confusingly covered, right? Vosteed doing a good job making it mostly accessible. Demco, obviously the entire thing accessible. We want to put our fingers in those holes. Don't block it. Thank you, EMP EDC, for giving us access to your hole. The blade shape is very, very good. It's hollow ground, and it also has a beautiful plunge grind. This thing is set up to be used long term. It is ridiculously slicey. It's got a beautiful tip on it, nice even cutting bevel, awesome stone wash. Man, I got no criticisms for that blade. That blade is awesome, and it cuts like a dream. It's really been fantastic. Plain Jane backspacer. There's a lanyard hole back here. It's not in the way of anything, so it's fine, right? I kind of like that the texturing just kind of runs through the middle, and then we have these bevels right here. They're kind of like curved, concave. I guess I don't know how we describe that as in the bevel zone. But yeah, we have a quad relief cut here, so that's kind of neat. I think I don't know if that actually allows for some sort of additional function or tension. I'm not really sure. Lock bar tension feels great. It's just nice to look at, I guess. We have a lock bar insert that doubles as the over travel stop, which is awesome. They call this a quad cut frame lock. I don't know if they are referring to this or if they're referring to this. There was a part of me that thought, oh my gosh, does this frame lock, which by the way, somebody needs to do this. I don't know why we haven't seen this yet. Does this frame lock engage both underneath and behind the lock face on the blade? All right, I was like, oh, there's a little pocket there. Oh. And it doesn't. But why do we not have compression engaging? I mean, I don't know if it technically would be a compression lock. Why do we not have frame locks that engage behind the lock face like this? Right? Spyderco's compression lock. Tab goes behind, not underneath, like this. When pressure is applied to the spine, which is rare, I mean, like, unless you're being dumb, right? If you're like smashing rocks into smaller rocks with your knife because you don't understand what a knife is supposed to be used for, then yeah, there's probably, you know, like, but sometimes when you're cutting, it gets stuck and you wiggle and you got to put pressure on the spine. These liner locks that rely completely and totally on proper geometry can slip and disengage. It's far less likely to happen with a compression lock because it is engaging behind the lock face on the blade. The lock face is behind and not underneath. Why are we not doing the same thing with frame locks? Does somebody have a patent on that specifically? I mean, that's a good idea. For people who are like, yeah, the compression lock's fine, I just don't like, I just don't, like, a lot of people are like, I'm bored of frame locks, I hate them all, frame locks. They're not going away, but I think they could be improved on. I just don't know why we don't see that. That's what I thought we had here for a second, and to my knowledge, that's not what's happening. I can't find any evidence of it engaging back there. There's no mark. It's engaging the same way. But just, you know, to toss this out there, probably, I mean, would be a good idea. If you have enough lock bar tension, right? I don't see why we couldn't do two different lock surfaces. I mean, there's no reason why we can't cut a frame lock that's probably way more involved. Why can't we cut a frame lock to engage both underneath and behind? Like the lock face could quite literally be cut. You know, I mean, think about like the V-anchor lock from Vosteed. Like that thing slips in there, kind of like a puzzle piece, right? Two surfaces, two contact surfaces It's double the, I mean, number one, like getting the tolerances exactly right for that probably be a little bit tricky. Number two, it probably would create, as the lock wore in, it might create more of an opportunity for severe lock stick. That's my guess, but I don't know. It would also be more complicated with the steel lock bar inserts, probably. But then again, like, man, not only do you, I don't know why I'm doing this on this review. Like, this knife is incredible. We're going to finish it up. Just let me, now that I'm in the talking point, right? Best case scenario, not only do you create a more reliable frame lock, but you also effectively double the lock bar life, which in a lot of ways is trivial if it's a chip because you can just pop it out, right? And put a new one in. The steel lock bar insert. I think that's a good idea. I don't know why we haven't seen that yet. But it'd be a cool idea and would certainly help refresh, the boring ancient frame lock of yesteryear. Yes, much like the days of the horse and carriage. The sun is setting on the modern frame lock. It's not. It's just fun. This is how some people view it, this is an incredible knife. I love it. If you hate frame locks, fine. I still, a ton of the knives that I carry and use have frame locks. I like new locks as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to dismiss a good frame lock, right? If everything else is good. Jimping, great. We got there's no issues with lockup solidity. There's no blade play is what I was trying to say. It runs on bearings. That's probably obvious. No pivot lash. Incredibly smooth and consistent in here. The detent, perfect. Blade centering, perfect. No detent lash. It's awesome. What's the price on this guy? $325. I think that's pretty incredible considering it's EMP EDC and they're using Bestech as an OEM service. A lot of people are going to say, I can get titanium and Magnica for $250 from X company or Y company. Sure, you probably can when it's one of their in-house designs, right? Bestech takes a massive chunk when they offer an OEM service. They're one of the premier OEMs and they know it. All of them do this. All of them charge a ridiculous amount. They don't leave companies like EMP EDC a lot of room to make an enormous amount of money. They have to, they really, if they want to succeed with a model, they have to make sure that they sell a lot of them. And he will, with or without me reviewing this knife. I mean, EMP EDC is doing just fine. He's going to, right? But that's really where it's at. There's not nearly as much markup in these things as people realize, especially when you're utilizing an OEM service, right? If you own the entire OEM and it's in China, then yeah, sure, then you got tons of markup, right? Here, not so much. I'm actually impressed it's not more. It's $325, right? So yeah, there's less expensive competition out there, but I think they did a really, really good job here. I think that there's enough here that it warrants that price tag. I mean, realistically, like, what do I think that this knife should be? Like, if we didn't have to factor in, because we do, EMP EDC is not a charity, and neither is Bestech, so I'm trying to be fair here. If I didn't have to factor that in, what do I think this should be priced at? I don't know, probably $285, right about there. I think it's bringing a little extra than the $250 territory. I think that's great. Without having to factor in, like, both parties having to make money. Generally speaking, going over 300, I expect to see things like contouring, which... Is it? It's not. There's some sort of weird illusion here where it looked like it was for a second, but no, it's not. But they are they're hitting the nail on every other element. I think it's great. You're gonna have to choke down a little bit of markup. I think this knife is excellent. I think it's absolutely worth the money. It's wonderful. I've been carrying the crap out of it. I really like it. Highly recommendable knife to people shopping in this territory, not to just everybody who crawled out of the vent work discovering the knife world for the first time. No. Oh my God. You do not need to spend $325 on a pocket knife. Start with the $30 budget territory. For people who are familiar with the knife world and they know exactly what they're looking at here, absolutely. Yeah, this is hyper competitive at that $300 price point, for sure. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.